Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good evening, folks. Live from Central Pennsylvania. We'll be coming at you shortly, just a few moments, with the Pennsylvania, the summit between President Trump and the press conference and Putin. That'll be coming up a good 3 hours they spent together here. No thumbnail for this live. I'm taking care of that right now. It took a few minutes to get it set up, but we're just waiting for it to go live. And it's not. It was. They said about 10 minutes. So I got set up very quickly in less than 10 minutes here. I just need to get my thumbnail. I've generated the image. Now I just need to make it so it'll fit on my screen. Then we'll have a nice thumbnail for this. So give me a moment here. Yeah, this is Trump said he was interviewed by Brett Baer on Air Force One on his way to Alaska while he was over Canada. Said, you know, if this doesn't go well, I'll leave and we'll go back to the States. Watch the leftists launch onto that and say, oh, he didn't even know Alaska's in America. Watch him say that. But Trump was talking specifically about when he was over Canada. So anyway, we know how the left is. They'll turn to some nonsense, no doubt. But the Trump-Putin summit Alaska, that's what we're talking about here. And it should just be a matter of moments. I'll give you live commentary and feedback as we watch this unfold. Okay, I just made myself, okay, there we go. So I can get myself a proper thumbnail, hopefully get a larger audience here. I didn't advertise this because I had no idea if and when it was going to happen. But here we are now, and we've got it. So now we can fix this very quickly. Anyway, yeah, so thanks for tuning in, folks. It should be interesting to say the very least. It's not there. I just realized it's in a different place. Yep, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they've come out with something. They brought 500 people from Russia for this thing. That's unbelievable. Are they all looking for refugee visas to come here? Oh my goodness, there's Trump, Putin. There we go. Got it. All right, so now we got a good thumbnail for this, and people tune in and put the word out. If you're any mods here, you can put the word out. We're just waiting for it to go live. The press conference is not live at the moment. It's coming from the White House feed, and as soon as it goes. But this could be historic. It may be a nothing burger. We'll see. Trump had said on the flight that if it couldn't work any kind of deal out, if it was making no progress, then he'll just leave. He said he's more focused on fixing America. This is not his mess. Joe Biden left this mess for him, and 100% I agree with that. So we're just waiting for it to go. It's got 1,300 likes and 3 dislikes. How can anybody dislike peace being format? You see, there's demonic people that are never happy. It's been a very busy day for President Trump and for the press corps, as well as all the diplomats, not to mention the 500 people that Vladimir Putin brought along from Russia. 6-hour flight from Andrews Air Force Base to Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska. Alaska, the 49th state, became a state in 1959 before my birth. And got 5 native species of salmon. It's one of the largest oil producers in the world. And state residents pay no income tax. They pay no sales tax. They get money back from the state in the form of the dividend that comes off of oil every year. It's a fascinating place, one I've yet to get to in my life. I really would like to get there, but I have not gotten there yet. Maybe one day. It's on that bucket list, I suppose. But we're waiting for this thing to kick off. Hopefully it's going to happen. You know how this is. So I didn't mean to. I was still cracking crabs open. If I've got any crab shells on me, I apologize. Let me clean them off. Still cracking my crab shells, wondering if this thing was going to happen. So I got my crabs, and I got through. I had 2 dozen smalls, and so I've gotten through, I'd say, a dozen, maybe a little bit more than a dozen, and still got a ways to go. And so I'll get back to that when this is over. But we bring you the news as it unfolds and give you the analysis and commentary. So this should be interesting. Joe Biden, not once in his 4-year tenure, ever met with Vladimir Putin, never made a single effort. As I said throughout the conflict, when Biden was trying to give weapons and sell weapons to fuel the war and get Ukrainians and Russians killed, I said, why isn't he looking for peace? He's threatening Putin all along, never once offering peace, never once offering to host a summit. Trump has already met with Zelensky. He's now, a couple of times, he's now meeting with Putin. This is a guy trying to make something. He's already negotiated peace in Sudan, in Georgia, also in Cambodia. The guy is working his tail off. He's, at least for this moment, stymied the Iranian nuclear threat to global peace. Thank you, Johan Barkhausen. Yeah, so we're just waiting for this bad boy to get going. And once it gets going, we'll listen in. I don't know how long it'll go. I don't think we'll have to dim the lights, but if we do have to dim the lights, we'll do that. A la Cyril Ramaphosa. Natalie, could you dim the lights? Don't think that moment's coming. And I'm not sure what's taking so long. They said 10 minutes, and that was about 15 minutes ago now. And so I had about 10 minutes of lead time to get set up for this, and we're all set up. But just waiting to see what the deal is here. And hopefully we will get these folks coming out very soon. The press is jumping all over the place, not having answers, saying this, that, and the other. It's funny to see them. There's only one podium. I guess that means that Putin's not coming out. And that was from minutes prior. They already had the podium out there. So 2 podiums. It's pretty, not funny, but entertaining to watch the hysteria of media that really are not well informed about life. Excuse me. So I'm getting messages from refugees here, those in the States already. So I'm going to have to, my mods are already putting this stuff out. Thank you. Cool. Well, and we're waiting here, folks. It's been a long, busy day once again. These days just never slow down. They really don't slow down. Pretty crazy. Oh, I see I'm duplicating the effort of my moderators. Apologize for that, folks. So I'll go over to the Telegram and put them in the Telegram. But hopefully we'll get Putin and Trump coming out shortly, and hopefully make some progress. Trump has expressed that unless he comes away with some sort of ceasefire, he's going to be disappointed. But he said it's not my place to negotiate peace between these 2 countries. They need to sort it out. So he's kind of tempered expectations, I think, but he's also raised them. Talk of maybe getting a ceasefire, that's definitely raising expectations. It looks like I'm duplicating. Hendo's ahead of me. Is Hendo here? He is. He's got me beat. Well done, Hendo. Fabian, how's it going? Right, so we're still waiting, folks, and if this happens, we'll bring it to you. I've got the live feed, nothing happening at the moment. Let me go look for one of the other services and see what they're saying. That's not what I want. Let me see if one of the commercial networks, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Sky News is covering it. Let's pull up Sky News. Got commercials on there, so still waiting for this bad boy to begin. So probably just, yep. Sky News, that's the dude from CNN. Is he on the camera? Let me listen.
Protest people unfurling flags.
No, it's not. So, all right, so that's a camera angle there. So this is what it looks like. And when I have the feed from the White House to go, I'm just going to give you a glimpse of what it looks like. Press corps all gathered, waiting, 2 podiums out there. Pursuing peace is the banner. I can't give you these commercial feeds. They might come after me for copyright, even though that's a matter of public interest. But so I will show you this very quickly. That's what the room looks like. It's 2:38 time in Alaska. It's 6:38 here on the East Coast of the United States, 6:39 now. So that's the CNN guy there on the right. I can't remember his name. Scott Pelfrey, I think it is. Is that who that is? Yeah, so there you go. So Sky News, not bringing the audio on that. Yeah, Kremlin says the Putin joint news conference will be held soon following their meeting in Alaska, and that's what we're waiting on right now. That's from Sky News. And we've got Fox. That's Fox Philadelphia. I don't want Fox Philadelphia. Okay. NBC News, CBS, Agenda Free. He's got 26,000. The White House feed doesn't have anything. All right, cool beans. AP. Let's see what AP's look like here. Yep. So the problem for my feed is that they haven't turned anything on. Okay, here we go. Here we have the AP. I can go with that feed. That's just showing the screen. So here we go with that. And then as soon as Trump comes out. Yeah, so here you go. So let me get that on the screen for you. So we're just waiting for this thing to get kicked off here. I'm not sure where these guys are at, but that's a live feed from Elmendorf Air Force Base in Anchorage, Alaska. While they were outside, apparently Trump had a B-2 stealth bomber fly over top, startled Vladimir Putin. Obviously a show of force to make the point. To make the point, folks. You can see the order of the flags there. Always left when viewed, always right when standing. Always goes to the far right when standing, and when viewed, it's always on the far left, the most prominent flag. In this case, the United States of America, the Stars and Stripes. 2 podiums up there with the U.S. presidential seal, pursuing peace. As I said, Scott Pelfrey yapping away to CNN right now, and these dudes sit down, get out of the camera, quit ducking. So I'm not sure what we're waiting on. Yes, and it was beautiful. It wasn't Rihanna. It was beautiful. It was big. It was beautiful. And he had Putin a little bit startled there. So we don't know what the tenor of the conversation was and what was discussed here, but I can tell you that the Russians brought 500 people. I don't know how many planes they flew up here, but 500 people came. And this is something else, mostly business leaders. And the Russians have said publicly that they're there to explain their position. Trump doesn't want to hear their position. We know what their position is. Trump wants a ceasefire and wants the death to stop. He wants the ghoulish behavior that's been going on, courtesy of Joe Biden's feckless foreign policy. 9 days after Biden became president, the world seems to forget. I've not forgotten. Ever since Myanmar's government overthrew its civilian government and threw the president Aung San Suu Kyi in prison, where she remains to this day, democratically elected government, and a military coup, which they still control to this day, 3.5 years later. But 9 days after Biden became president, and they had nothing to say. Nothing to say. The Biden regime did nothing about Myanmar, did nothing about the genocide against the Rohingya. And here we are, months after that. After that happened in February of 2021, Vladimir Putin was given encouragement. He saw that Joe Biden was a feckless paper tiger, and the United States would not respond. Unlike Donald Trump, who would respond, as he showed taking out Khashoggi, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards leader who was in Iraq. He had him taken out in a strike. And Putin knew that Trump was serious, but Biden is a wuss. And so 9 days after okay, dude, put your phone down. Anyway, look at these people waving their microphones trying to get attention. Anyway, so that happened 9 days after President Biden became president. Nothing happened. Putin says, aha, I see how weak and feckless this guy is. Let's test him. Putin moved 60,000 troops to the border with Ukraine, in Belarus, and in Russia proper. Biden said and did nothing. That was 6 weeks after he became president in March of 2022, as the weather began to get better, and then built up his forces over the summer, only to invade several months later, because after Afghanistan, it was obvious to Putin and every other leader on the planet that there would never be a dumber SOB sitting in the White House, a bigger coward, a more callow, callous, useless, feckless, corrupt leader in the White House than we had under Joseph Robinette Biden. And therefore, Putin went for it. And what did Biden do? Put his hands in the air, never once sought to negotiate peace, never once sought to bring these parties to the table, only to sell arms, to give weapons, to fuel the fire, to fuel the carnage, to cause the deaths, giving things, weapon systems we'd never dream of giving to a former Soviet republic. It's unbelievable. And that's where we find ourselves today, 3.5 years later, probably as many as 1 million people dead in the greatest carnage since the Second World War in Europe. Unbelievable. Lorette's husband's surgery went well. Took him off the ventilator. Cool. All right. Well, sorry you have no sleep, but I'm glad that his surgery went well. That's awesome. So let me just say hello to some of the folks while we wait for this thing to unfold. Let's see if we can hear some of these ladies talking. Oh, then she stopped talking. Now the other one's going to talk. In the turtleneck just over my head. No, they're not going to talk. So, Vendor Durant, welcome to you. Harold Menges, Sumaranthia Rao, Chantal Fenter. Awkward Leon is here. My South African crowd is here, of course, interested in events here in America and around the world. Appreciate that. I could have done this on my other channel, but I figured we wouldn't get that big an audience. So I thought we'd come here, and I knew you guys would appreciate it. Not a lot of people know about my audience. 111,000 subscribers here, just 22,000 on the other channel. If one of my mods could put the link up to the other channel, and some of the folks here could go subscribe to that, I'd appreciate it. But I suspect most of you here are probably subscribed to it. Siggy, welcome to you, Mad Max. Hank, Fabian Bridger, Ian Moon, Hendo, Lorette, Garrett Gillich, Alte Knabadu, Anton Mulder, Ulrich Fenter, Marquis Pretorius. Gus is back. Hey, Gus, haven't seen you in a while. Okay, there is Witkoff. That's his negotiator, so that means we're getting close. Let me take a quick look and see if we've got... they all want to get pictures of Witkoff. Let me see if we've got the White House feed yet. Nope, still not yet. All right, there we go. So that was Steve Witkoff. Okay. So that means we're getting close as he came out. Rizla, welcome to you. There might not be a peace deal made, but Trump will just leave to Europe to sort out. Possibly. That's a fair point. Lorette's husband's surgery went well. Golda Kruger, good to see you there. Dylan, good evening to you. And then Pablo Charlie's here as well. Boeing C-17 Globemaster from UAE landed at 12:30 in Cape Town. Okay. Thanks for the heads up on that, Mad Max. Are you watching that from FlightAware? Where'd you get that from? Okay, like Biden would say, don't. I think Putin is fluent in English. Yeah, he may be, but he's going to use a translator. That's a show of power. Ooh, who's the bleachy blonde bending over there? Yeah, it's a show of power for him to use his own language. No doubt about it. Momo, welcome to you. Leilu, good to see you there. Oh, that's a commercial. We don't need that. All right, still waiting. Love America more than what we love. Okay, good. Interesting to hear that. Stan Martz, welcome to you. Ernst, you want to hear Putin in English, Google him singing Blueberry Hill. Boiling Frog, good evening to you. I'm lurking as always. Someone posted a video of it landing today. Okay, thank you. On a WhatsApp group. All right, cool. I thought maybe you got it from FlightAware or something like that. Interesting. So how do they know it's from UAE? How did the people know that? They must have done some research or checked into it. That commercial's still running over there. Let me see if I can skip that commercial. There we go. All right. All right, I'm just giving you that feed so that we can see when it starts. I don't want to miss the start of it. A flag on the tail. Oh, so that's not an American. Oh, it's a UAE C-17. Okay, gotcha. That's interesting. You can only see a blank screen. You can't see me? You can't see me? Can people see me? Are you seeing a blank screen? Because I'm not seeing a blank screen being transmitted. Okay, you see me. Okay. All right. Well, then let me do this then. I'll take the little one off. If all you're seeing is that, then I'll take off that screen because that's just silly for you. Okay. All right. I didn't know you were. See, that's a new blocking technique that they use, so you can't rebroadcast news services. Yep. Okay. So you can't see me. Well, then there's something wrong if you can't see me. It's a blocking technique. Another technique they're doing now is they're messing up the audio from the video when you download videos from commercial sites. They will use tools to delay it so that the people are talking isn't matching the lips to piss people off. It's very irritating, very annoying, and it's undermining independent journalists that don't have these rich budgets. So you guys didn't see the bleachy blonde. Here's another bleachy blonde. She's even more attractive. She's got a good look to her. So, but you could hear it when I turn the sound on, right? All right. Okay, so you guys can see me now. I don't know why Chantel can't. There's something wrong with her site. Dylan says I'm so good looking. I don't know about that. All right, so Witkoff is out there, and all the journalists are definitely getting a little... I'm watching her text here quickly. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting they're doing that. Well, I hope that isn't the case when we play the White House feed. You need to refresh your page then, Sumanthria, because people can see me. Yep, you need to refresh your page if you can't see me. I can see both, but for a week now, none of your videos or Ronaldo's are in my feed. That's interesting. All right. So, still waiting for these folks to come out. We're now, this is cutting into my crab picking time. I could be picking crabs. But from Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska, a major Air Force base for the United States on our northern frontier, I heard some commentator was on one of the news programs earlier today talking about this guy's running for the Senate in one of the states. Or no, not for the Senate. He ran for the Senate. He's running to be for Georgia, I think it is, for Secretary of State. And he's like, yeah, no, they're up there just 50 miles from Russia. They're not 50 miles from Russia. They're 1,000 miles from Russia. Anchorage is nowhere near Russia. Alaska's Aleutian Islands reach within Russia. He sounds a lot like a former Sarah Palin, the governor of Alaska. Okay, see? You got to refresh. Okay. All right. I'm waiting to see if this lady speaks. She's got someone in her ear telling her she's got her phone in her hand. So, got a big smile on her face. Is she going to speak? Here we go. I can barely hear her. No, why would Alaska be renamed? We bought it fair and square for $7 million or something like that. They called it Seward's Folly, one of the smartest purchases in the history of humankind. We bought it from Russia, who was still reeling from the Crimean War and needed money desperately, and they sold Alaska to us. We got it with the furs, the gold, the timber, and then the bonanza of petroleum, which we had never imagined, not to mention the rich cultural diversity of the Inuit and the Native Americans who live up there. and how it's really added to the tapestry of America. Alaska is such a key, poignant state for us. The least populated state because it's mostly frozen Arctic waste. 1/3 of Alaska is north of the Arctic Circle, and Prudhoe Bay is up there, and that's where a lot of this oil is coming from. So many barrels. Okay, looks like they're coming out. There's Sergei Lavrov. He's come out. Let me look and see if it's come up on the other feed yet. Nope. White House feed has still not come up, but Sergei Lavrov has just come out and sat down. And here comes... All right. Folks are coming out now. I'm waiting for the feed to begin from the White House. Still hasn't started. A number of those who get to sit in the front row are sitting in the front row now. I don't even recognize some of them. Must be Russians. There's Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, coming out. Some more people I don't recognize. There's the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth. And there is Carolyn Levitt. She's there as well. Boy, they all jumped up to get a picture. The men and women are going to get a picture of Carolyn Levitt. They're all lusting after her, the mom. It's funny to watch. The ladies and the men lusting after Carolyn Levitt. They love her. They can't get enough of her. So we must be very close at this stage. Let's see if the White House is ready. No, they still haven't started the feed. So March 30th, 1867. That would be the date we bought it. I thought it was April, but close enough. All right, Carolyn Levitt is out there. Phones are up. I think they're all getting ready for Trump and Putin to wander out, but the feed hasn't started yet. Still more officials coming out. There's Marco Rubio arriving, sitting in the front rows. People want to photograph him, so he stands up and adjusts his tie in a rather smiling fashion. It's great watching the photographers trying to catch that perfect moment here. So we are waiting for the White House feed, which is still not live. We're getting close here, folks. So they said 10 minutes, and we're already 32 minutes since then. So this is kind of like on Ramaphosa time here. But to be fair, they are coming from a lunch and a conversation, so we'll see what they have to say. The cameraman just pulled his angle back, gave a wider angle. Now I can see all of the flags. And the White House is still not live. Come on, man, let's go. All right. So this, I've got the Associated Press feed, 19,000 watching it on there. And on the White House feed, which is showing us nothing, there are just 12,500. On my feed, there's 155. Not quite the heft and weight of some of these other media outlets, but we try our best. All right. So, still waiting here. And now they've got their subordinates out there waiting for them. For the Russians, I'm guessing maybe they have earpieces in, so they know what the translation is. Scott Pelfrey still standing there. Is that Pelfrey? I'm not sure. He's one of the CNN guys for sure. I recognize him. All right. We are waiting patiently. Up, they're standing up. Here comes Putin. And there's Trump. And I still don't have the feed from White House. Let's go, White House. Get your act together. Wow. They're still not there. That's unbelievable.
Уважаемый господин президент, дамы и господа,
Unbelievable.
наши переговоры прошли в конструктивной и взаимоуважительной атмосфере. Были весьма обстоятельными и полезными. Хотел бы еще раз поблагодарить моего американского коллегу за...
Okay, I have no audio here from the White House.
Уважаемый господин...
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, our negotiations have been held in a constructive atmosphere of mutual respect. We have very thorough negotiations that were quite useful. I would like to thank once again my American counterpart for the proposal to travel out here to Alaska. It only makes sense that we've met here because our countries, though separated by the oceans, are close neighbors. So when we've met, when I came out of the plane and I've said, "Good afternoon, dear neighbor. Very good to see you. In good health and to see you alive." I think that is very neighborly. And I think that's some kind words that we can say to each other. We're separated by the Strait of Bering, though there are 2 islands only between the Russian island and the US island. They're only 4 kilometers apart. We're close neighbors, and it's a fact. It's also important that Alaska has to do with our common heritage, common history between Russia and the US, and many positive events
Trump doesn't
have
look
to do
happy.
with that territory. Still, there is tremendous cultural heritage back from the Russian America. For example, Orthodox churches and a lot of more than 700 geographical names of Russian origin. During the Second World War, it was here in Alaska that was the origin of the legendary air bridge for the supply of military aircraft and other equipment under the Lend-Lease program. It was a dangerous and treacherous route over the vast emptiness of ice. However, the pilots of both countries did everything to bring closer the victory. They risked their lives and they gave it all for the common victory. I was just in the city of Magadan in Russia, and there is a memorial there dedicated to the Russian and the US pilots. And there are 2 flags, the US flag and the Russian flag. And I know that here as well there is such a memorial. There is a military burial place several kilometers away from here. The Soviet pilots that buried there who died during that dangerous mission. We're thankful to the citizens and the government of the US for carefully taking care of their memory. I think that's very worthy and noble. We'll always remember other historical examples when our countries defeated common enemies together in the spirit of battle camaraderie and allyship that supported each other, facilitated each other. I'm sure that this heritage will help us rebuild and foster mutually beneficial and equal ties at this new stage.
Oh, I feel like I'm listening to a Tucker Carlson interview. Dude, get to the point. We don't give a shit about the Soviet Union. We're not friends with Russia. Get to the point.
For bilateral relations, and let's be frank, they've fallen to the lowest point since the Cold War. I think that's not benefiting our countries and the world as a whole. It is apparent that sooner or later we had to amend the situation to move on from the confrontation to dialogue. And in this case, a personal meeting between the heads of state has been long overdue. Naturally, under the condition of serious and painstaking work, and this work has been done in general. Me and President Trump have very good direct contact. We've spoken multiple times. We spoke frankly on the phone. And special envoy of the president, Mr. Witkoff, traveled out to Russia several times. Our advisors and heads of foreign ministries kept in touch all the time. And you know fully well that one of the central issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict. And his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress.
Okay, let's get to it then.
Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%. As I've said, we have a lot of dimensions for joint work. It is clear that the U.S. and Russian investment and business cooperation has tremendous potential. Russia and the U.S. can offer each other so much in trade, digital, high-tech, and in space exploration. We see that Arctic cooperation is also very possible, and our international context, for example, between the Far East of Russia and the West Coast of the U.S. Overall, it's very important for our countries to turn the page, to go back to cooperation.
Trump is looking
It
pretty chilled.
symbolic that not far away from here, the border between Russia and the U.S., there was a so-called international dateline. I think you can step over, literally, from yesterday into tomorrow. And I hope that will succeed in that, in political sphere.
Oh, Lord.
I would like to thank President Trump for our joint work, for the well-wishing and trustworthy tone of our conversation. It's important that both sides are result-oriented, and we see that the President of the U.S. has a very clear idea of what he would like to achieve. He sincerely cares about prosperity of his nation. Still, he understands that Russia has
Trump's
its own
not the only
national
one that's
interests.
bored.
I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S. And in the end, I would like to add one more thing. I'd like to remind you that in 2022, during the last contact with the previous administration, I tried to convince my previous American colleague that the situation should not be brought to the point of no return when it would come to hostilities.
Don't worry,
And I
Trump
said
will make you
quite
excited.
directly back then that it's a big mistake. Today, when President Trump saying that if he was the president back then, there will be no war. And I'm quite sure that it would indeed be so.
Ooh.
And I can confirm that.
Ooh,
I think that overall,
that's big.
me and President Trump have built a very good, business-like, and trustworthy contact. And I have every reason to believe that moving down this path, we can come, and the sooner the better, to the end of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Natalie, could you dim the lights now?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. That was very profound, and I will say that I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Ratcliffe, thank you very much. But we have some of our really great leaders. They've been doing a phenomenal job. We also have some tremendous Russian business representatives here, and I think, you know, everybody wants to deal with us. We've become the hottest country anywhere in the world in a very short period of time, and we look forward to that. We look forward to dealing. We're going to try and get this over with. We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings. We were interfered with by the Russia hoax. That made it a little bit tougher to deal with, but he understood it. I think he's probably seen things like that during the course of his career. He's seen it all, but we had to put up with the Russia hoax. He knew it was a hoax, and I knew it was a hoax, but what was done was very criminal. But it made it harder for us to deal as a country in terms of the business and all of the things that we'd like to have dealt with. But we'll have a good chance when this is over. So just to put it very quickly, I'm going to start making a few phone calls and tell them what happened. But we had an extremely productive meeting, and many points were agreed to. There are just a very few that are left. Some are not that significant. One is probably the most significant. but we have a very good chance of getting there. We didn't get there, but we have a very good chance of getting there. I would like to thank President Putin and his entire team, who I know in many cases, other than that, whose faces I get to see all the time in the newspapers. You're almost as famous as the boss, but especially this one right over here.
Lavrov.
But we had some good meetings over the years, right? Good, productive meetings over the years, and we hope to have that in the future. But let's do the most productive one right now. We're going to stop really 5, 6, 7,000, thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening. Thank you very much, Vladimir. And thank you all.
Oh,
Thank
they're
you.
not going to take questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no questions. Wow, they didn't take any questions. Wow, that speaks volumes in and of itself. That's it, folks. Wow, that was pretty short-lived. My goodness. Hang on a second. I got something out of control here. There we go. That's on. My goodness. That's wow. That was quick and to the point. I mean, Trump only spoke for about 3 minutes, and he said we're going to stop people from dying, but no mention of a ceasefire, no mention of any agreements, no mention of any threats. Nothing happened. Probably because it didn't go as well as we think it did, or they agree that it's too sensitive that they're not going to do it. Wow, that's going to get people's attention how quickly this thing went, folks. Wow, my goodness, no questions. My goodness, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, the Crimea is a sticking point, but the Crimea is not going back. Russia annexed that in 2014, and Obama allowed it to happen. That ain't going to stop, folks. That ain't going to stop. It's not going to go back. Simple as that. I'm telling you that right now. Simple as that. That will not be returned. Let me see what Fox News got something going. Okay, here we got some pictures of the aircraft out there. Look at that. Air Force One's already moving into position. Look at that. So the plane just got back in position. Yeah, you guys can see that. Just want to make sure you could see it. Okay. All right, let's get back. That's pretty wild. There we go. The red on the jets is they covered up intakes and they covered up markings. You'll notice there's spots all over the planes. They covered up to hide the identity of these aircraft. All of them protected. What was the point? It's a good question. What was the point? It's a good question. Yeah, well, we don't know. They didn't let us know. They kept it to themselves. So MCM is a theory, and it's big. That's why Trump is going to make some calls. And if I'm correct, that a lot of the countries are in big crap. Yep. In your reporting career, have you seen anything like this? Short, sweet, not so much said. A couple of times. Well, I mean, in my reporting career, which is only 5 years, I've seen it a couple of times. In my career as an intelligence analyst and professional, I've seen it several, many times. That could be good. It could be bad. I don't get the sense that it was bad. What I get is that Trump doesn't. They agreed not to discuss what they agreed to until Trump has been able to make some phone calls and tell the Europeans how things are going to be. Tell Zelensky what's on offer. I think that's why. I think that's what we're talking about here, folks. It looks like they're bringing out some more red carpet there, carrying it out. The soldiers down there carrying it, or airmen. Yep, so Air Force One is back in position, so I'm guessing that Trump is going to leave before Putin does, based on this. Yep, so you're going to roll out some more red carpet now. I mean, who keeps all this red carpet? Cameraman's going to zoom in here now, get a better view. Color guards out there. That is a big plane, 747, man. Look at that. Air Force One. I can see a reflection of the lights on the fuselage. I don't know if that's cars coming up or whatever, but you can see it there. It may just be the ramp that we're seeing a reflection of. Watch your step. Yeah, that's something that Joe Biden should have paid attention to. Joe Biden should have read that on his way up the steps getting on Air Force One. Watch your step. The Iceland summit. Yeah, there were a number of summits. The Iceland summit had a couple others. Yeah, looks like you'll still be able to. No, the steamed crabs are cold by now. No, I got the crab, Ingrid, and I was eating them. My hands were covered in Old Bay sauce seasoning. And when they said 10 minutes before the press conference, I had to scramble to get on here. So that went very quickly, folks. And I don't say it's nothing burger, but from a press standpoint, it was a nothing burger. Okay, the fact that the following did and did not occur is significant. Number one, Trump said on the plane en route to Alaska that if things went badly, he would just leave. There would be no press conference. He would just leave. There's no reason to be there. Trump also said that if they make a deal, he's going to have to He's going to have to talk to other leaders. So the fact that he hasn't announced what it is, the fact that they had the press conference, and there was speculation that Trump would have the press conference, but only Trump would be there, not Putin. Well, Putin was there. Putin got to speak, and he put us to sleep. Trump spoke. I believe they've reached some sort of agreement on something, but they didn't show it. So what will it be? And Trump made a big point about not trying to overestimate what's going to come out of this meeting. So, yeah. Trump's body language was pretty serious, but it wasn't angry. It wasn't Cyril Ramaphosa-like body language. So he never dimmed the lights, that's for sure. But we will find out later on. Now waiting for round two, exactly. So, card being held close to the chest makes sense. Don't want to give your opponents ammunition. Exactly, Cronje Sten. It's exactly right, and I think that's what we've seen here. So, it's not a nothing burger. It's just that it's none of our business burger. That's what this is. Not a nothing burger. It's just it's none of our business burger for the time being, and I think that's the situation here, folks. So, we're going to have to wait and see what unfolds. And, of course, it is after midnight in Europe. I don't think Trump is calling Zelensky at this hour, although I think he should. Hey, Volodymyr, get out of your bed. No, I do not. And no, I didn't attend Iceland Summit. I was in the Army. I just got out of the Army 5 years ago. Not quite 6 years ago. Yep. It's an above our pay grade burger. Exactly. We don't have a need to know. Pablo Charlie, I didn't see that, but I wouldn't worry. But that's an empty threat from Russia. Expensive meet and greet by Chris. Yeah, not really. All you're all paying for is airtime. It's a lot of you have unlimited airtime, so you're not even paying for that. So, of course, Putin has his own agenda. Of course, he has his own agenda, folks. And Trump has his own agenda. We all have our own agendas. What's the point of being there if we don't have an agenda? Of course, he has his own agenda. Come on. But I think Putin is finding himself in a corner finally. It's not going well for him and his evil activities. Yeah, turn on Zelensky's light. Exactly. Natalie, call. Oh, look at this. Oh, we got adverts popping up there. Stitch. All right, let's get rid of the block that so you don't have to see that. Notice I don't put white people in the ads. By the way, I discovered something really cool, folks. Apparently, white men don't get cancer, leukemia, sexually transmitted diseases, lupus, Crohn's disease. We don't get any of that stuff. Did you know that? White American men don't get any of the diseases. It must be the case because white American men don't appear in any of the adverts for any of the medication or treatments for any of the diseases. So apparently, we don't get leukemia, Crohn's, Asperger's, cancer, none of that stuff. White men, we're free of all disease. It's amazing. It must be that white privilege. White privilege keeps us free of all that disease. So that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that until a couple of days ago that's why white men don't appear in advertisements in America, despite the fact that they're 38% of the American population. Yeah. So, yeah. So it's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. Yes, Fabian, but you're only 10% of the population or less, so it would make sense you should appear 10%, all things being equal. Whereas 75% of the population, we appear in none of the commercials. So it is pretty amazing, Ingrid. Pretty exciting stuff. I think we should tell everyone who's a white male out there in America that it's okay. It's going to be fine. Your life expectancy is increased because you don't get any of these diseases. Yeah. No. That's almost a long time ago. I was junior officer back when I was enlisted. I think when the Iceland thing happened. Yeah, I wasn't even an officer. I'm not that old. Come on, how old do you think I am? Yeah, even Little Mermaid's black now. Yep. Anyway, right, folks. Looks like that's going to do it. I don't know what the point of hanging around much longer is here, so we're going to wrap it up here, I think, and see if we can listen to the aircraft. The engines are running, so you think they'd be ready to go. So, John Grace, but you're not American. I said American men. I said white American men. So we're not in the ads over here, man. Are you an American? Okay. Sorry to hear that you have Crohn's. Yep. But white American men don't appear in any commercials anymore. So anyway, all right, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks for tuning in. It wasn't a nothing burger. It was just it's none of our business burger, right? None of our business burger. That's what this one was. We will find out as time goes by. Oh, here's another view. Oh, here's a helicopter flying by. Check this out. Can you guys see this? Tell me if you can see this. Can you see that? Let me see if you can see it. Well, it looks. You should be able to see that. That's a cool shot of the Air Force Base. Cool. You should be able to see that. All right, cool. That's Elmendorf Air Force Base. I wonder what all that stuff in the top left-hand side is. Looks like there's smoke or something over there. Everything's gray. See that? Oddly shaped gray stuff like clouds. But that was a live photograph because I saw a helicopter flying by. Air Force One's there waiting. It's waiting to go. Yeah, thanks for the super chat. Who gave the super chat? Was it Werner? Oh, it was David van Rieden, 200 Rand. Thank you for that, David. Sorry I missed that. Yeah, it looked like a Black Hawk. I just had a quick second to gander at it, but I don't see it anymore. Flesh in, there you are. Anyway. Yep, so I guess we'll wrap it up there. Okay, that's, yeah. All right, guys, thanks. Be back later tonight with late night, but not a long time because I've got 8 o'clock Cheetah's Western Province game and then the Springboks. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us. Really do appreciate it. And awesome to have you along with me for this historic event that told us not a whole lot. All right, everybody. Cheers.